Oh, sugar. Better get rid of that. There we go. Welcome back to another edition of the Talking National League podcast, episode 45. It is on this Thursday evening. Maybe something slightly different. It's just me tonight. Hopefully, I can entertain you long enough with my football knowledge. Hopefully, it's not just all about Paul when he joins us, and I can keep you entertained this evening. So you'll have to bear with me. This is why I do need people to be in the live chat, need to be active, getting your comments in as we do preview all the games. Of course, it's the second to last game week in the National League. Some big fixtures. I think there's a chance, an opportunity that the title could be decided this weekend. Relegation could be decided. Even the playoffs could be decided after this weekend. So it's a very, very big game week in the National League. Someone's already come in and said, hello, I'm a Scarborough fan. I actually do hope that Scarborough get promoted this season. So best of luck for you in the National League North. I'd love to be covering them next season. Please remember to get your comments in. Mr. Leake said, hello, Mr. Walsh, no pressure for your predictions. Up the heat. Yeah, what we'll have to do with the predictions, we will have to get someone probably like Paul or Trevor or someone to send in some predictions for us to compare, because I will be doing predictions tonight. I think I just about won on the predictions league once again, so I'm pretty happy about that. Dale said Chesterfield away for me. Oh, big one then that one is. And said Chesterfield hitting strong form at the right time. Yeah, they certainly are. Chesterfield, I think they're going to get third now. Quite confident about that. A lot more big of a boost, I think, around the club at the moment, and having form in the playoffs with the calibre of players that they've got, you've got to be quite confident heading into these playoffs that you can, compete with anyone, potentially even someone like Notts County, which could be the final, Chesterfield v Notts, because that would be a great final in my opinion. Wrexham to win the title on Saturday will be trickier than Yeovil, but we will get them over the line, yeah. And then Joe's coming too. Please remember to keep your comments coming in throughout tonight's preview. We need to hear from you guys because it's just me tonight. And we don't want it just to be all about me. So, yeah, I do need to hear from you guys. So get your predictions in as we do talk about each game too. So without any further ado, we might as well get straight into the predictions then. So we'll start with this game then. Wealdstone versus Dorking. A bit of a mid-table, meaningless game now. Just look at where each side is. Wealdstone are 14th. I think overall it has been a successful season. Maybe a bit disappointed with the form of recent, but ever since they had that lost couple of games ago, they've seemed to have fallen off a cliff. And I think they've known realistically since that loss that they're not going to make it into the playoffs now. And yeah, I think they've dropped off a little bit, but I still think it's been a successful season. They've made a lot of steps moving forward, and I think what it is about for Wealdstone is making those steps season on season, improving, and they seem to be doing that once again. 14th, I think it's a bit of a false position for them throughout the season. They've definitely deserved to be in that top 10, but I think due to recent form is the reason that they've fallen down the table. Dorking, they're on the up. At the moment, they've secured another season in the National League, so I'm over the moon about that. I like covering Dorking, a great club to cover. I think they bring a lot to this league too, like Wealdstone do. I think they try play on the front foot, nice football. A lot seems to be going on there. The project, it's going to be interesting to see where that leads to in the upcoming years. So I'm very happy that Dorking have secured another season in the National League, and let's hope next season they can do what Wealdstone has done this season, or potentially do even better, which I'm sure Dorking will be wanting to do. But yeah, they're safe now mathematically. So the final two games, they can relax. And a trip to Wealdstone, this should actually be quite an entertaining game because both sides do like to play quite nice football. And obviously both are part-time, but that doesn't really matter because it's not that stereotypical football that you may expect where, it's just hoofball. Both sides like to play nice football, and both sides in their respective positions have had good seasons, in my opinion. For this game, though, I think Wealdstone at the moment, hard one to call this, but I think Wealdstone at the moment with their recent form. We can't dispute that it's not been the greatest, although they have had a good season overall, and Dorking are on the up. I can see Dorking winning this, and I'm sure both sides will be wanting to have a good, strong end to the season. But yeah, I think Dorking will win this. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Dorking win, in my opinion. Please remember to bring us your predictions too. We've had some people coming in. Draw, someone said. Chesterfield to win the playoffs against Notts County. 2-1, early call that. And then Joe said 3-2 Dorking. Yeah, does promise to have a lot of goals. We'll just see. Someone said going to be doing a special show for the FA Trophy final. Yeah, go subscribe to his channel there. And then James said, Luke, he's 3 up, 3 down next season. Mark White said so, but heard nothing else. It is an interesting one, that. And although I do a podcast, I don't have any inside information, unfortunately. But I did see that, what Mark White put. But the only thing that I will say is there's been no news about that from BBC and significant media outlets. So that's my only concern on that, is I can't see them. This is such a big change in the National League infrastructure just happening so sudden over the summer. But who knows, to be honest. I think this season tells the story, though, about the National League at the moment. 2 sides getting over 100 points. And yes, that, I think, dominates the majority of the talk about the National League at the moment. But we talk about those two getting over 100 points. And that shows to me that if a Notts County didn't get promoted, or which is very unlikely now, or Wrexham didn't win the title, which, yes, is technically still possible, and I think they will win it. That's just an early thought there, and I think everyone's thoughts, even Notts County thoughts. But if either side didn't win promotion this season, then that would be so devastating and quite amusing, to be honest, I think. And it would definitely, I think, force a change in the National League, because that's something we need. And like I was saying, of course, these two clubs dominate this talk. When we talk about, these two clubs shouldn't be in the Football League, but there's other big clubs. I can just name a few: Chesterfield, Southend, even sides lower down the table, some who've got relegated, in fact, Scunthorpe. These are all former Football League sides, and these sides should have been nowhere near non-league. And then you look at your Halifaxes, your Torquays, your Yeovils, Wokings, that are all wanting to get into the Football League, and the majority of them have been, to be honest. But yeah, it definitely needs to happen. The only issue is, unfortunately, it does come down to a vote, and I can't see League Two clubs being in favour of course, wanting to, an extra promotion spot, because of course it does mean there'd be an extra relegation spot in that Division 2. And if you're a Harrogate surviving every season on the skin of your teeth, or a Hartlepool if they survive this season, or Crawley, you're not going to want that extra relegation place, because it's so damaging getting relegated to the National League. We've seen how many clubs, when they do come down, they come down in turmoil, bad ownership, and it can be the end of them. And we've seen that with a lot of clubs. I'm not saying it's the end of Scunthorpe, but then you can't see them in the Scunthorpe League, in the Football League, for a very long time. And you look at your Oldhams too. It's going to take, I think, a few seasons for them to get back up there too. So yeah, it definitely does need a change. But do League Two sides really want that? And honestly, no. If I was in League Two with Halifax and we were surviving every season just about, I wouldn't want the extra relegation spot, unfortunately. And yeah, that's just my take on that. Please remember to get your opinions in. 50% of League One teams have played in the National League Conference in the last 20 years. Yeah, that's a good statistic for you there. Oxford, of course, another club who've been in there. Lincoln, just look at what's happened to them. It's been the making of them since they've got promoted to the Football League. As we are on the topic of this, and there's a few more people tuning in now, please remember to like and subscribe. We've got over 1,000 now. I think we're on our road to 1,200 at the moment. So the support's been great. Streams as well. More people tuning in of late too. I understand a few people may be turned off tonight because it's only me. But yeah, thank you for joining me too. And please remember to try and get this out to as many National League supporters as possible. Another one as well on the admin side of things. Sorry, I should have done this at the start. But of course, as we said last week, I've been nominated, so thanks for the nomination, in the Non-League Bible Awards for Best YouTuber under 10K. After this video, there's a link in the description if you want to go there and vote for me in this category. That'd be much appreciated. So yeah, thank you for that. And is there any more that we've had? League Two teams won't vote for 3 up, 3 down. It's like turkeys voting for Christmas. And then we've had Scarborough went bust after going down due to bad ownership. Yeah, there's a lot of clubs. I know Scarborough went bust, and of course they've reformed now. You've also got your other sides as well who are quite far down there. Chester, who are low down, who are in the league below still. Kidderminster, the National League North. There's a lot of big clubs in there too. We'll move on to the next game now. Please keep bringing in your opinions on what we are talking about and your predictions too. If you're new as well, please don't be afraid to have any of your thoughts on the relatable topics too. Where should we go next then? I usually leave this to my guest. Let's go to Scunthorpe versus Southend. Scunthorpe are down. We know that. They're at home. Southend, can they make it into the playoffs? Let's hear your thoughts on that one. I think a poor result against Oldham, which may have decided their fate this season, proven that they're just not quite good enough to get into the playoffs, unfortunately. I think losing Lapata was a very, very big loss for them. Of course, 4 points outside of the playoffs. It's fine margins at the moment. If they'd have won that game, there'd be 1 point outside of the playoffs. And, you'd be looking at Bromley thinking, oh, they've got Chesterfield who are on form. So you'd be confident as a Southend fan that you can find a way to sneak in. It's not out of the question yet. It could go to the final day, but they need to win this game. If they do lose this game, then it's over. The playoff dream is over for them. I think goal difference as well, just based off that there, it's quite tight actually, 13-9. Yeah, they have to win Southend at Scunthorpe. And I think anyway, if you're going somewhere like Scunthorpe, even if it wasn't a must-win, I think it is a must-win because of who the opposition are and how poor they are and the fact that the opposition aren't playing for anything. So I am going to back Southend in this match. They need a reaction after that defeat to Oldham. So yeah, I think they'll win this. I think they'll get a narrow 1-0 win. They're very good at scraping out results, Southend, and I think they need to get back to that like they were at the start of the season, and I think they will do. So yeah, I'm confident Southend can get a win in this match and make it go to the final game of the season. Of course, if Bromley beat Chesterfield, then they're in the playoffs this season. As long as I think if Eastleigh win, they could still catch them. But yeah, it's very, very tight at the moment in the playoffs. Let's hear your predictions then. Keep them coming. We've had someone said 3-1 to Southend. Someone said 2-0 to Southend. Chester was in League Two. Yeah, we all know that. I know Kidderminster as well, who are there. Darlington, I think, Reformer Football League as well. A lot of big clubs in that division and a lot of clubs as well with big budgets, the likes of Fylde, who may be getting promoted this season. Kings Lynn are also up there too. Someone said 3-0 to Southend. Come on, keep your predictions coming, guys. Just under 50 people watching, so please don't be afraid to get your predictions in. 1-0 to Southend. Yeah, everyone seems to be backing Southend in this one. Next then, where shall we go? Let's go to my club. Dagenham versus Halifax. I think another meaningless game now. I think Halifax blew any chance, and I mean any mathematical chance of getting into the playoffs because of that dropping points to Bromley on Tuesday night. I know we were looking, thinking, oh, we could get in the playoffs perhaps because, it could go down to the final game of the season. It would have been one of the most luckiest and I think miracles for Halifax to have got in the playoffs if they managed to this season. But honestly, there was an opportunity for them to at least keep it competitive until the end of the season. And I do think they blew it against Bromley because it was mathematically possible. Bromley have got Chesterfield. If they'd have lost to Halifax, Halifax would have 59 points and Bromley would have 66. Eastleigh have got a tough end to the season. You know, you even look at Southend, who've got a tough end as well after their defeat to Oldham. All the results were going our way, which left that door open for us to potentially, and I mean potentially, break into the playoffs if the results went our day. But unfortunately, I think we closed that door on ourselves, and now I think it's just about staying unbeaten until the end of the season, which is doable against the Dagenham side that are very, very inconsistent. They're 8 points outside of the playoffs. They mathematically can't get into the playoffs either, with only 2 games remaining for them. So yeah, quite a meaningless game. I think both sides have just been wanting to stay in the top half of the table. Halifax, of course, have Wembley to think about, so they'll be wanting a strong end to the season. Honestly, maybe a bit of bias here, but I think Halifax will win this. I think we seem to have found a rhythm. We seem to have found a formula that's effective, and that's what you need. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late, but I'm going to back Halifax in this one. Maybe a bit of bias there, but I'm going to say 3-1 Halifax. One great form at the moment. Dagenham, very, very inconsistent. So yeah, I'm going to back Halifax in this one too. Let's see what you guys have been saying. Someone said Dagenham 2-1, Dagenham 2-1. Yeah, everyone seems to be back in Dagenham. Someone said, I think Daggers will be disappointed about missing out on the playoffs 2-1 Halifax. Yeah, that was the aim at the start of the season for Dagenham to get into the playoffs, and unfortunately they haven't done that. They're just too inconsistent, and it's the same with a lot of clubs who are just outside of the playoff places. They lack consistency. Halifax at their best, Dagenham at their best, Solihull at their best. All these sides just outside of the playoffs at the best. They are a playoff side. I even go as far to say Oldham, at the best, they're a playoff side. But, you know, at the best, they're very inconsistent the majority of the season, and we haven't seen the best of these sides for the majority of the season, unfortunately. Luke said 2-1 to Dagenham 2. Let's go to... Let's look at any other meaningless games, potentially. I think this is quite meaningless. Yeovil versus Oldham. Yeovil are the third team to be relegated. It's going to be interesting to see who does join them in that fourth spot. Yeovil, I think you'd be disappointed because throughout the season, you've probably spent about 3/4 of the season outside of the relegation zone. And you'd say that was still disappointing. And then, you know, too many draws. We've been talking about the most draws in the division, in fact. And then those draws, we were talking a couple of weeks about Yeovil, you need to turn those draws into wins. And unfortunately, it's gone the other way. And they've turned those draws into defeats. Just look at this form. It's lost, draw, lost, draw, lost, draw for Yeovil. Oldham, 3 wins on the trot for them. So they're in good form at the moment. 12th place, which I think is the highest they've been all season, Oldham. So yeah, a good end to the season for Oldham too. The favourites in this game do seem to be Oldham, as you would expect. I'm going to back Oldham as well. I think Yeovil won't be too happy at the moment with the fans. I don't think the fans will be happy with Yeovil, I should say. I think they've sort of given up these last few games. I think if I was a Yeovil fan, it's quite distressing at the moment, seeing what's happening to them. You know, going into the National League South is demoralising, to be honest. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can come back, because there's a lot of big clubs in that division. But yeah, Oldham at home, I'm going to back Oldham in this one 2-0 on form at Oldham at the moment. And I think they'll back that up with another win against the Glovers. Let's see what people have been predicting then. 56 people watching, and it's only me, so I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully you guys aren't getting turned off. So yeah, thank you for being patient this evening. Someone said 3-1 to Oldham, 3-0 to Oldham, 1-2 to Oldham. Yeah, everyone seems to be backing Oldham in this match too. Let us know where should we go next. I don't like to decide. Put in a chat, first person to put where they want us to go next. That's where we will go. Someone said 3-1 to Oldham, 3-1 to Oldham. Yeah, everyone seems to be backing Oldham. 0-0. Honestly, that's not off the cards either. The amount of draws that Yeovil have got this season, and Oldham, you don't know what to expect from them at the moment. But I think it's been a good end to the season for Oldham. There's been a lot of talk about the manager. Is he good enough? to be the Oldham manager. He's got a lot of criticism. A lot of it, in my opinion, has been a bit unfair because it's a massive transition for them this season. And he came in under a lot of pressure with where they were, and he guided them to safety this season and a good end to the season, in my opinion. So, yeah, I honestly think I think he's done an okay job, to be honest, at Oldham. And I think, I'd definitely give him another chance next season. I don't know what Oldham fans think of that. Some may disagree. Let us know, Oldham fans, if there's any in here that if you want to keep Unsworth or if you think he should be dismissed next season. But I think with the players on show, if they add to this squad, get rid of that dead wood, I think Oldham next season could be a force and could be competing for the playoffs at least next season, especially with the likes of Wrexham and Notts County. I think for the majority of the league, hopefully gone, because of course it opens more doors for other clubs who can compete at the top, because there's such a financial difference. In quality, there's a lot of difference, but financially, there's a lot of difference. We've seen this season, and I think it's a big reason is the fact that Wrexham have a lot of money. We're not complaining at them for that, but they have a lot of money, which means they can attract the best players. And these players are from League One and League Two, where you're getting your Bromleys, your Wokings, who have potentially probably overperformed this season, who honestly I don't think can compete with these sides. And if one of those was to get promoted, you'd say that's a bit unfair, because throughout the season, Notts County have been miles better. But what I will say on that is if both sides are gone next season, it opens more doors for other clubs, and it'd be a lot more unpredictable at the top, I say, next season. I never say that it's predictable, the National League, but we knew at the start of the season the clubs at the top would be Notts County, Wrexham and Chesterfield. Maybe not all of us expected it to be this good, but we all knew that those were going to be up there at the start of the season. Someone said, I'll put this, despite League Two sustenance, Wrexham and Notts County threw a spotlight in the non-league that won't end. We USA fans know every non-league team, thanks to Wrexham, and global interest will face the FA to change rules. Yeah, that's a good point, that as well. Hopefully when Wrexham get promoted, they can persuade the rest of League Two to vote to get that extra promotion spot. Luke said, let's go to York versus Aldershot. Let's do that then, because this is a big game. In my opinion, whoever wins in this game is safe. Just look at the table there. If Aldershot win, I honestly think they're safe now. But for them to be mathematically safe, if they win this match, then they are. York, there's a bit of pressure on them. They're only 3 points clear. Being a bit disappointing. That defeat to Torquay could be quite damaging at the end of the season. But there's an opportunity for them to be at home here against Aldershot, who were also, like most sides, to be honest, down there, inconsistent, where they've got an opportunity to defeat the side around them and confirm another season in the National League next season, leave it down to a side like Maidenhead or Torquay to go down. Because if you're York now, you're looking over your shoulder thinking, oh, where's Maidenhead, where's Torquay, how are they performing? So in my opinion, they need to win this. Aldershot, they're 5 points clear at the moment. They actually will need Torquay. If Torquay obviously fail to win against Altrincham and Aldershot, I think if Aldershot even get a point, basically if Torquay failed to win, if Torquay lose, but no, if Torquay can draw at a moment there, and Aldershot are in the National League next season. That's how it'll work. If Torquay get a win, though, then there's still pressure on Aldershot to go down. But honestly, I think that win that they had at the weekend has kept them up against Scunthorpe. I think that's decided their fate next season in the National League. Someone said, put their predictions in first. Yeah, get your predictions in first. 2-1 to York. Someone said 2-1 to Aldershot. Yeah, it's quite split, isn't it, this? on behalf of the bigger clubs, I would love Maidenhead to go down. Yeah, they're very, very hard to beat, Maidenhead. That's something I will point out in this match. Someone said 2-0 to York. Everyone seems to be back in York at the moment. Yeah, keep these predictions coming in. 60 people watching at the moment, which is, in my opinion, is great for a Thursday evening when it's just myself. So thank you for tuning in this Thursday. And please remember to like and subscribe too. But we'll move on to this game. Because I honestly think this is one of the biggest games of the game week, York v Aldershot. And I'm trying so hard to call it, but I'm going to have a look at form. And I've had a look. So York, of course, had that defeat to Halifax. And then, who was it they lost to? Oh, they lost to Torquay, didn't they? An Aldershot have had two on the back of 2 wins. Aldershot won at Wealdstone as well, and defeated Scunthorpe at home. Aldershot are actually unbeaten in 4. It's so hard to call this one. York lose it, it'd be damaging. Who are the favourites? York are the favourites, and I think that's probably based off the home, them being at home. But Aldershot are actually a better side away from home than they are at home. This is hard to call because it's going to be whoever turns up on the day. See what people have been saying. 1-1, 3-1 to York, 2-1 to York, 1-1. Feel like backing I'm sort of going one way, thinking Aldershot are going to win, but then maybe it's just my heart just telling me I don't want York to go down. But York have to play Notts' final game of the season. Yeah, that's what I mean. So if York lose this, then they are in a lot of bother on that final game of the season. Just go back up to the table. If York lose this match, and Torquay, even if they get something against Altrincham, then they could survive. Who've got the better goal difference out of those two? It's going to be, York have a better goal difference than Torquay. And Maidenhead. Struggling with this one, to be honest, guys. Any more that have come in? Aldershot are very good away from home this season. Yeah, look, 8th away from home. That might do it for me, to be honest. Let's look at York at home. Where are they in the league? Down in 19th at home. A lot of draws there. No, I'm going to back I'm going to back Aldershot in this one. I think them being so good away from home will give them that edge, I think, to win this game. But then again, York away at Notts County, the last game of the season. It's so hard to call this one. Oh, if York went down this season, they'd be so unfortunate because they've always threatened to drop into that relegation zone throughout the season, but they never have done. They've always been just above it the second half this season, and they've always won when they've needed. So that's something else to add. I know they had Wealdstone at home, and if they'd have lost that, they could have dropped into the relegation zone. But it's so hard to call because I remember, and this is just on the relegation zone, I remember when Halifax had beaten Wrexham. If we hadn't have won since that game, then we would, I think we were on 49 points after that win. We've had 2 wins since then and a draw. So we won 49 points. Now, we'd be where York were if we hadn't have got a win after that Wrexham game. Now I remember saying after Wrexham, we'll be fine this season now. We'll be fine. We could probably lose every game and we'll be fine. And I know we projected the other week that 50 points would keep you up. And it might honestly be a bit more. It could be anything now. It could be as much as 52 that would keep you up this season, depending on how Torquay do. But I'm gonna back Aldershot in this game. I want to know actually Who do we think's going to go down this season? Let's have a bit of that. Aldershot are already on good form, so we'll be confident. I think York falls fate also depends on whether Wrexham win the league this weekend, as it could affect the Torquay game. Yeah, it could. And then someone said if York lose and Torquay win the weekend, then it'll be a tasty couple of games for both clubs against first and second and the last game of the season. If it fails to that and Wrexham win the league, someone said, I can see Torquay having the better chance of staying up. Maidenhead aren't out of the question. Who are we saying then? So who are we saying in 23rd? Someone said Maidenhead to go down. Keep those coming, guys. Let us know. I do a poll, but I don't have access to it at the moment. Yeah, I'm still backing Aldershot in this one. 2-1 I'm going to go. I think they're very good away from home this season. A lot of firepower going forward. Amaluza, another player you've got there. So, yeah, Ryan Glover. Tyler Cordner as well. He's chipping in with a few goals at the moment. And York on a bit of poor form. But it's so hard to call. I'll leave my prediction on who I think is going to go down. Yeah, I'm going to leave my prediction on who I think is going to get that 21st place. We'll move on then. Where do we want to go next then, guys? Where I think we should go to this Torquay match because this is another big one. Are there any more like sort of meaningless ones? Maidstone Notts County. Let's go for a bit of a different contrast of a side near the top. Let's look towards the top of the league now. Notts can mathematically still win the league, but it's very, very unlikely. It'd probably be something that Wrexham haven't done all season for them to win the league, and that'd be to drop points at home, which they've only done once. So they're expecting Wrexham to drop points at home to Boreham Wood, which honestly I don't think is out of the question because Boreham Wood are known to take points off the bigger teams in the division and put 11 men behind the ball and to be successful with that. They're also quite good away from home too. So if you're not, you go into this one thinking, let's just be resilient until the end of the season. Let's gain some momentum like they have done, a good win against Woking, and let's keep this momentum going into the playoffs, because what you don't want to be doing is taking your foot off the gas and then going into the playoffs and not being on the best of form and then having to face someone, which I think it would be either Bromley or Woking at the moment. And them at home, honestly, that could be a difficult game if they don't turn up, which for the majority of the season they have done. So yeah, I think they'll win this comfortably. Maidstone are by far the worst team in this division by a country mile, lack quality. So yeah, I'm gonna back Notts in this one. I'm gonna go for quite a convincing battering here. I'm going to go for a 4-0 Notts County win. Maidstone concede a lot of goals at home. They were awful against Halifax. It was like a stroll in the park for us. And by no means have we been a great team this season. Of course, we've improved, but they were dreadful. And to be honest, from what I've seen of them throughout the season, they were a very, very poor side that lacked National League experience. So, yeah, I think Notts will win this game convincingly. 4-0 win. Potentially keep that pressure on Wrexham until the final game of the season if Wrexham do fail to defeat Boreham Wood. And stranger things have happened. But we'll talk about that game very, very soon. What are people's predictions then? Someone said Maidstone to win 3-0. You must be a Wrexham fan. Yeah, you are. Someone said Maidstone 1-0 last minute winner. That would be probably one of the biggest upsets of the season. 5-0 to Notts. I do say that, but Maidstone knocked Notts out of the trophy, FA Trophy earlier on in the season. Someone said 5-0 to County, 4-2 to Notts. That's an interesting score. A lot of goals, but yeah, I think anything could happen in this game. But I think considering the score, but I think Notts will get through it. I think every week we always feel that Maidstone are going to lose the majority of the time, but it's always a case of by how many. And yeah, I think it'll be 4 this week, in my opinion. Could easily be 6 or 7, to be honest. Let's move on to the next game. Maidenhead v Barnet. Now, this is down there as well. Barnet are in the playoffs this season. They'll be wanting to probably finish as high up as possible. they can't now get that third place, and I think that's been known for a couple of weeks. But you want to get as far up as possible to try and avoid Notts County until at least the final. And then in the final, all the pressure's on them, and you're not playing them away from home. If you're playing them at a neutral location, then anything can happen. That's how I'd see it. So I think if you ban it, you want him to keep that momentum going up. But they've had a lot of draws recently, and they've been lacking goals, which I've noticed. Kabamba hasn't scored for a long period of time, to be honest. And I think that's been a big reason why they haven't been as free scoring as what they were a couple of weeks ago. Maidenhead down there, this is a massive game for them, and this would certainly be unfortunate if they drop down division this season, because they've been about where Wealdstone and Altrincham have been throughout the season. But their form of late has been a bit disappointing, to be honest. Just a few of the defeats that they've had, just here, if I can get that up. 1-0 defeat to Oldham last Saturday. They lost to Torquay, which was, I think, the reason that they've been drawn back into it, because you've gifted a fellow relegation rival 3 points, and now they've been dragged into this relegation battle at the wrong possible time. And instead of looking up the table, you're now looking below you, and Torquay are right on your backs at the moment, to be honest. Worse goal difference as well than York. If you're Maidenhead, you look at these final 2 games, Barnet home, Gateshead away, you're definitely thinking we need to get something from Barnet, at least, possibly a win. And then, basically they need 3 points from these next 2 games, and if they get 3 points, they'll be fine. They've got 2 cup finals here, and if they win one of them, then they're staying up this season. 2 opportunities to keep your National League status for next season. But I think if they do win this week, it will be decided. And Torquay fail to win, then it will be decided. But I'm going for a draw for this game. Barnet aren't scoring many goals. Maidenhead's a difficult place to go. Very hard side to beat, I think. Maidenhead can often take points off the so-called better teams in the division. We've seen them take points off Chesterfield. We've seen them take points off Wrexham. So yeah, in my opinion, I think Maidenhead will get a point from this game. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. What have you guys been saying then? Let's have a look here. Go all the way up here. Go back to this game quickly. Can't see Notts dropping anything at Maidstone. 3 or more versus 0. And someone said 1-0 Notts. Maidstone keeps it close. Maidstone have lost every game against the top 4 in stoppage time at home this season. So 2-1 Notts in added time. Almost 70 people watching the stream at the moment. So thank you to everyone that has tuned in once again. Someone said 2-1 Barnet, 2-1 Maidenhead. Maidenhead are a team nobody can predict. That is the statement of the evening, in my opinion, that they are so unpredictable. The definition of a National League club. Every season, everyone expects them to go down. They never do. They go and lose to someone like Maidstone, which they actually have done this season, and then go and take points off the likes of Wrexham and Chesterfield. That's the definition of Maidenhead as a club. Someone said 2-0 to Barnet. Someone said a 2-2 draw. Barnet could do with the win to boost morale. Had an iffy run recently, but they're a bigger club playing at Maidenhead. 1-1. Yeah, you agree with me on that one. Someone said 2-1 to Barnet. We could relegate Maidenhead on Saturday. We are staying up. That's a Dorking fan. Yeah, we're happy. We've had a bit of talk about you earlier on in the stream about your game against Wealdstone, so go check that out. Someone said go then. Woking versus Gateshead. That's where we will go next. But yeah, I think this will be a draw. I think both sides will be at it. I think it'll be end to end. It'll be quite a good game, in my opinion, this one. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Not the end of the world for Barnet. They just want to hang on to this 5th place at the moment. And Maidenhead will want to keep their National League status alive. And if they win this final game of the season at Gateshead, who haven't got anything to play for now apart from building momentum until the end of the season. You probably look at this and think 4 points from the next 2 games, that's going to keep us up in this division. So I'd be happy with that. But of course, I'd be wanting to get that job done as soon as possible. And that would be getting a win against Barnet. Someone said, Swansea. I don't know. Wrexham fans will give their opinion on that, though. Someone said, Halifax got battered. Oh, don't say that, Sam. Come on. This is what we don't like. Halifax v Guiseley is the real non-league rival. No, it is certainly not. Don't agree with that, Sam, at all. Let's go to... Where are we going now? Yeah, Woking v Gateshead. I'm going to back Woking in this one. I think they'll win 2-0. Gateshead being pegged down a peg or two, I think. Of course, lost to Bromley on Saturday, 3-0, and then drew 2. Woking can still actually catch Chesterfield. They've got a game in hand, but I can't see it, unfortunately. I think 5 points clear. I'd rather have points on the board than games in hand, to be honest, at this stage of the season. So, yeah, I honestly think Woking will finish 4th this season, unfortunately for them. But I think they will win this game. I think they'll win 2-0. Gateshead are 16th at the moment. Good form for them. But, yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for that, to be honest. I think a good win for them. But if you're Woking, I think a very good season. And I think no matter what happens this season, they are building something. And I know for a fact next season they'll be up there once again. So they're making a lot of steps moving forward, even if they don't get promoted this season. And like I've previously mentioned, when you're Notts, your Wrexhams, even if Chesterfield go in, there's only one of them, there's a door open for another club like a Woking or a Barnet or a Southend to get promoted next season. So, yeah, they're definitely taking steps moving forward this season. What have people been saying? Then someone said... 1-1 to us. Woking 3-2. Gateshead will be a close game. Sam, let us know who you do support. It certainly is, mate. We always used to play in playoffs. And then someone said, to all Watford fans, yeah, we won't need to read that. And then we've had Gateshead to nick it 3-2 in the last few minutes. That will be a good win for them. Please remember to keep your predictions coming throughout tonight's live stream. Where shall we go next then? Luke, you're going to tell us where to go next then. Remember to keep your predictions coming, like I've previously mentioned. And let us know who you do think is going to go down this season. Is it going to be York? Is it going to be Maidenhead? Or is it going to be Torquay? Which side is going to go down to the National League North or South? If it hasn't come in, we'll wait. We'll just get on with it, Luke. Let's go to... We've got Wrexham, Boreham Wood, Eastleigh v Solihull, or Altrincham v Torquay, or Bromley v Chesterfield. That's a really good game, in my opinion. Because Bromley, it's so hard to predict as well. If Bromley gets something out of Chesterfield, if they win, in fact, they're in the playoffs. Chesterfield win, I think that's it, and they're definitely going to finish 3rd this season. Someone said if Woking lose, draw, and we win, 3rd is mathematically ours. Yes, someone said Eastleigh versus Solihull Moors. Someone said, sorry if the channel is family friendly. Well, it kind of is, it kind of isn't. I try not to swear, but yeah, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Someone said, think we'll beat Maidenhead for sure, but can't see them going down. Someone said, Eastleigh versus Solihull Moors. Let's go to that one then, Luke. Just for you, Eastleigh v Solihull. Eastleigh, they're off form at the wrong time. And it's another thing about being consistent. And you need to be consistent to get into the playoffs this season. 2 points outside of the playoffs. It must have been demoralising and tiring for them to go 2-0 up against Chesterfield and then for them to come back and defeat you in the last 20 minutes as well. Considering they got a 90th minute equaliser and then a 90 plus 7 or something to win the game. Yeah, pretty mental from Eastleigh, and it does feel like they are losing that defensive solidity that they've had throughout the season. Just some of the last games: 3-2 lost to Chesterfield, 5-2 lost to Gateshead at home. We talked about that game on that Wednesday night. 3-3 draw to Aldershot when they were 3-1 up. They seem to be losing leads, so having a 2-0 lead or a 3-1 lead, and then conceding. Conceding a lot of goals. 13 goals in the last 4 games. So they are conceding a lot at the moment. And they're against Solihull, and you don't really know what to expect from them. They need to win this game, Eastleigh. I think it's still an opportunity for them to get in the playoffs. If they win this game, there's a good chance that they'll overtake Bromley because of who Bromley are playing. Bromley could, depending on goal difference, Bromley have the slightly... No, actually, Eastleigh have the... No, Bromley have the slightly better goal difference there. So if Eastleigh do win and Bromley lose to Chesterfield, then there's a good chance then Eastleigh would overtake them. If it's a draw, it goes down to the final game of the season. So Eastleigh can get into the playoffs this season, but I'd probably say this is a must-win at home. They need to make the Silver Lake a fortress like it's been throughout the season, because look at this home form. It's very disappointing considering that they've dropped off recently against sides that you'd be expecting to be in the likes of Gateshead and as well Aldershot too, but they're conceding too many goals as of late as well. So yeah, it'd be very disappointing for them if they did finish the season, just came short. They always seem to do. I remember a couple of seasons ago when I think Halifax did as well. Both missed out on the playoffs. They always seem to just miss out. I think the last time they were in the playoffs was when it was when Salford win the division, I think, and they lost to Salford. They'd beaten Wrexham. Wrexham fans will remember this. And then they played Salford and then lost to them on penalties, and they were the better team throughout the game as well. Someone said, this is an Eastleigh fan. Saturday is massive. We've been poor last 8 games and can't see us winning both games. Hughes and Solihull, whilst Bromley dropping enough points, so can't say I'm optimistic. Yeah, Eastleigh, I've just remembered they've got Halifax afterwards, and I have to say, going to Halifax away, it's always a difficult place to go. I know from experience of being a Halifax fan, there aren't many games this season where sides have come to us and turned us over. Woking, Notts County were a bit shaky at the start of the season, but now that we're on form at home, I can't see Eastleigh getting anything more than a draw at our place. So they definitely need to win this game. Who Bromley got on the last game of the season? I had it earlier, but it's gone out of my head now. Bromley, let's have a look at who they've got on the last game of the season, which depends on this. So Bromley, and then they've got Oldham away. And you'd probably say that there's a good chance that Bromley could get something at Oldham too, but that's a hard one. That's a hard one to call as well. Someone said, wish I didn't remember that playoff game when they knocked us out. Or you can remember it now though, because you know that there's a good chance you're going to get promoted. And if that didn't happen, if you did get promoted that season, for all you know, you may have not got this ownership that you've got now. So yeah, I think in hindsight, maybe it was a blessing that game. Now, let's have a look at the next one then. So yeah, I think Eastleigh will win that 2-0. That's my prediction. Get your predictions coming in as well. Someone, let's see what people have been saying. Who said this? Most Halifax fans are probably Huddersfield fans too, to be honest. No, we're not. If there was any club that we both support, it would be probably Leeds. There's a few Leeds/Halifax fans, and then some have a bit of a connection with a bigger club. But to be honest, the majority of the fan base, including myself, support one club, and that's it. So yeah, let us know which is your best away day of the season. Get those in the live chat too. To everyone, 76 people watching live now. Come on, everyone, get involved in that live chat. 77 now, in fact. So yeah, get your comments in. Let us know which the best away game is of the season, and get your predictions in for the following last few games. Let's move on then to what have we got? All TV Torquay, Bromley v Chesterfield, and Wrexham versus Boreham Wood. Which should we Should we do Wrexham now? Let's leave them till later. Let's conclude this relegation battle for my opinions on it for this week. Torquay 21st in that relegation zone. The form for them at the minute has been it's gone off, but the form for them at the minute has been amazing, I think, to be honest, considering where they were. Playing out the skin, scrapping out results. It's what a side near the bottom needs to do, but it's a shame that they've left it this late to find this kind of form. I do say that, but of course they were defeated, I think more than defeated, battered by Chesterfield away from home in midweek. But it was always going to happen where you were going to go on a good run of form and then you're going to lose at some point. And there's no shame in losing to Chesterfield away from home. The problem is now is there's a lot of pressure on you to get something at Altrincham. And I say get something, that's 3 points. Because if you win, because then you've got Wrexham at home. And this is why someone mentioned it earlier. It's crucial, depending on if Wrexham have won the title or not. Because if they've won the title, then there's more of a chance, in my opinion, that Torquay will win that game or get something from it. And if you're Torquay, you need to be getting. I still think it's going to be. I think it's going to be about 50, 51, 52 points. I initially projected 50 a couple of weeks ago. But size have improved since then, as you would expect. So I think it's going to be 51, 52 points. So in my opinion, you need to get a win against Altrincham. Otherwise, it's over. Because Maidenhead have got Barnet, and that's a hard one to call as well. I predicted a draw for that one for anyone who's just tuned in. Yeah, this is a hard one. Torquay versus Altrincham. Altrincham have nothing to play for, which may work in Torquay's favour. Look at matches then. See, I know Altrincham aren't on the best of form at the moment. Let's have a look then at matches at the moment. So Altrincham at the moment, they drew to Dagenham. Is that midweek, I think. Lost to Dorking. I predicted 2-2 for that one, so a bit disappointed with that. Lost to Gateshead. Yeah, a lot of draws and defeats. So I think most people will probably be saying a draw or a win to Torquay. That's just how I would be expecting it because Altrincham have nothing to play for. What are people saying at the moment? Anyone got any prediction? Yeah, keep those predictions coming in, guys. Let's hear what people are predicting at the moment on this game. Altrincham v Torquay. I think I initially put a draw for this game. Like I mentioned, probably the reason I'm staggering a bit is because it's a bit. I've just come on tonight and just basically started recording the stream, so I ain't had any predictions in advance. So hard to call looking at Altrinham's form. It's another one what I'm struggling to call. Probably the reason is because I want Torquay to survive this season, but I can't see them winning this game. We're going for a draw, 1-1 draw again between the two sides. What have people been saying? Someone said 2-1 to Torquay. Someone said 1-0 to Torquay. 2-1 to make it interesting for us. Someone said 6-0 to Alte. Regan Linney with 6. I know he's been good since he's come on loan for Altrincham at the moment. We've got a Huddersfield fan who is, of course, one of my mates who's coming the live stream tonight. I'll give him a shout out. But it's for Isaac Marriott Masterclass. The White Kante. Yeah, he's a good player, Isaac Marriott. I'll give you that. Definitely promising to get a move in the EFL in the future. Someone said 1-0 to Alte. Someone said, Pig, stop, open your eyes. Wrexham have most points in any league ever. Someone said, I thought he was on loan. He definitely signed mid-season, though. I can tell you that for definite. Yeah, he came in mid-season, didn't he? I believe. But yeah, he's a good player for you guys. But yeah, I'm going to go for a draw for this one. Which would keep it. See how many predictions would play out. if it went. So if Torquay, I predicted Torquay to draw, which means 47. Maidenhead I predicted to draw, which would mean 50. And York I predicted to lose. So that would mean that Maidenhead could be any of the three on the last day. So that'd make it interesting, that, for the last game week. Let's go on to the final few now. So we've got two more. Where do we want to go? Wrexham v Boreham Wood or Bromley v Chesterfield? Luke, come on. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for you to tell us where to go. Someone said Alty 3-2. Let us know who you all support as well, and let us know which the best away day is in the National League this season too. Let's go to Bromley v. Let's go see what are we wanting then. Let's go Bromley v Chesterfield. And leave the opportunity for Wrexham to win the league until last. Bromley v Chesterfield then. 3rd versus 7th. I say this was a big game because Bromley are on good form at the moment. I think I'll have to check, but I think they're undefeated in 7. It's something like this. And then Chesterfield are free scoring at the moment, back on form, finding ways to win, which has been something that they might have struggled through throughout the season. So Bromley draw win. Yeah, just look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 unbeaten for Bromley at the moment. And look at Chesterfield at the moment. 3 wins on the bounce. But these performances have been immaculate for them. 1-0 at Dagenham, 3-2 against Eastleigh. No else needs to be said. And then to turn over a Torquay side that are full of confidence at the moment. I think it's a good win for them, in my opinion, and a very, very convincing win, because it was a potential banana skin. And maybe once upon a time this season, Chesterfield would have dropped points in that game, but they've got the job done convincingly too. So it's a hard one to call this, like the most predictions are in the National League this season. Michael Cheek scored on Tuesday. There's a lot of good players going forward from Bromley, but we say going forward, they're just well set up and well drilled. They're a very, very hard team to beat. They have been throughout the season for a number of seasons. In Chesterfield, I think on the day can beat anyone in this league. That's what I would say on them. I think I'm going to back Chesterfield in this one. And that'd make it interesting for the final game of the season as well, because Eastleigh had overtake Bromley, but I predicted Eastleigh to drop out the playoffs a couple of weeks ago, and they have done. But now I'm starting to go back on myself, thinking Eastleigh might scrape into the playoffs this season. It's so unpredictable. If it was the Premier League, I could give you 10 predictions in 20 minutes and it'd be easy. But it's a very hard one to predict, to be honest. What we all saying then? In what are all our predictions at the moment? Someone said Chesterfield to win 3-0, Chesterfield 2-0, Bromley 2-1. Dallas has found form, 4 in 2 games, scoring a lot. And I think it's like the saying goes, once someone finds a goal for a new club, they often start to score a lot. And it seems that it has done, to be honest, for them at the moment. 3-3 draw. Could promise to have a lot of goals. Both sides have a lot of forward threat at the moment, but I think both sides are a lot better defensively as well. I'm going to back Chesterfield 2-1 in this game. I think they'll just have a bit too much quality at the moment, I think, Chesterfield. I think they're the better team on paper, as they should be, but Bromley are a very hard side to beat. But as the table states, 14 points between the two sides. So, yeah, I'm going to back Chesterfield in this one. I think they'll be able to pull through, and they've proven in recent weeks that they can do. So, yeah, I'm going to back Chesterfield 2-1. Now, the big one. The title decider, Wrexham versus Boreham Wood. They can win the title if they defeat Boreham Wood this Saturday. I don't think it's going to be easy, though, for them. It's not going to be an easy win as you would like. I'm going to back them. I think you have to. Wrexham at home, you have to back them every week, to be honest, at home. Unless they're playing someone like Notts County, but they proved that they managed to defeat Notts County. Let us know your predictions for this one. But it's a very, very one hard to call. Wrexham squeezed through 2-1, Notts win at Wembley, Maidenhead fizzle, Torquay escape yet again. This is... I think I'm going to go 2-0 Wrexham. I think they'll be able to pull through in this game. But honestly, I'll say this now, and it's sort of giving two predictions here. But I wouldn't be surprised if Boreham Wood got something out of this game, because they are the exact type of team to get something away at Wrexham. There's only a number of teams where you think, yeah, they've got an opportunity of getting something at Wrexham. And that's the likes of your Bromleys, your Boreham Woods, your Wokings, and of course your Notts and your Chesterfields. They're probably the 5 clubs I would say have got any chance of getting something against Wrexham. They're the type of clubs that get things at places like that and have proven it. But honestly, because of the occasion, because of how good Wrexham have been, because of that atmosphere as well, I think Wrexham will turn up on the day and they'll get the job done. I don't think it'll be a huge win, but I think they'll manage to pull through. What have people been saying? 3-0 to Wrexham, 2-1 to Wrexham, 2-1 to Wrexham, 7-1 to Wrexham, maybe not that much. Someone said 2-0 to Wrexham. I'm a Wood fan, and on our day, we're unplayable. Yeah, they're very hard to break down, Boreham Wood. Only Woking have taken 2 points off us all season at home. Yeah, exactly what I mean. But I think the sides that Wrexham seem to have struggled against is your Bromleys. I think, did they beat them 3-1? I know it was on the television. Notts County, they managed to pull through in that one. But it's a game where on another day against Notts County, they could have dropped points, if that makes sense. Same with games like Bromley. I know Halifax had a few problems, but honestly, I don't think it was ever in doubt. I think, honestly, I think they'll be able to do this one. 13-1, that's England's biggest ever win, I think, against Ireland. We all want to win the title at home. 2-1 to Wrexham. Wrexham lose 1-0. Ben Foster stinker. Wrexham v Chester is a fierce rivalry, not going to lie. Sam, let us know who you do support as well. It's a hard one to call. Prediction-wise, I'm going to go 2-0 Wrexham. I think they'll be able to pull through. And that would mean they would confirm the title. And that might be a good thing for Notts, because if Wrexham left it until the final game of the season and still managed to go up, which honestly, I think if they did drop points, I think they'll be able to get the job done at Torquay. But that would be a good game if it played out like that. Notts would still be in a chance of course, getting promoted, where if the title's decided now, they can prep for the playoffs with more time in advance, no disappointment of not winning the title because they've been able to process it ever since that Wrexham defeat. They've known, I think, that they're not going to win the title. So I think it's a blessing in disguise if Wrexham win the title this weekend for them. So yeah, I think Wrexham will win this game 2-0, and I think Notts will finish second as expected. Yeah. Who do we think is going to go down then before we bring this to a close? Put just the team in there: Torquay, Maidenhead, or York. Aldershot can actually mathematically go down, but most people know they're not going to go down this season now. Who do we all think is going to go down this season? Like Goldust getting a ticket at Wrexham, yeah, I bet it is. Someone said Torquay. Maidstone fans put in Torquay. York going down. Maidenhead going down. As a Guiseley fan, hopefully York hate them. Someone said York. Maidenhead going down. There's only one person who said Torquay are going to go down. I think York will survive. Although I predicted them to lose, I think they'll survive. But then again, I'm sort of going back on myself because I'm predicting them to lose to Aldershot and then they're playing Notts County away from home. Don't like it, but I think Torquay, few people saying Torquay now. I think that, yeah. I think Torquay will lose, unfortunately. And I think they're going to go down, yeah. I don't want them to. I don't want Maidenhead to go down, but I think Torquay are going to go down, to be honest. They've left it too late and 2 tough games, Altrincham away, and then, of course, Wrexham at home, yeah. It's hard, yeah. I think Torquay are going to go down, unfortunately. Let's have a look at the top then. Who's getting 7th then. Who's clinching 7th place? I think Boreham Wood, I think they're in the playoffs now, 6th. It's between Bromley, Eastleigh, and maybe a shout for Southend, but I think they've blown it with that defeat to Oldham, to be honest. Who we saying is going to go down? Someone said Torquay Defo have the tougher matches. Yeah, they certainly do. Someone said best away day was Oldham. Mullin last goal, end of the game, 2-1, and Coventry in the cup. Yeah, I know Oldham, I enjoyed that because of the low roof, good for an atmosphere. It's been good. I like Dorking because they were very welcoming as well. Everyone's fancying Bromley to break into the playoffs this season. Yeah, I'd be probably calling that too, to be honest. It's hard to call. Them or Eastleigh. Everything's hard to call the National League. Well, more or less, someone said Bromley. Someone said if Wrexham beat Boreham Wood and Gateshead beat Wood, then do you think Wood will drop out? Boreham Wood have 3 games, don't they? I think they've got a game in hand. They've got Gateshead and Wrexham, and who's that other one that they have? Wrexham, Gateshead, and Yeovil. No, because they've got Yeovil at home. If they drop out though, if they lost to Wrexham and Gateshead, well, I predicted Bromley to lose against Chesterfield, but Eastleigh to win. And then I'm not predicting the week after because that's for next week. No, I don't think they drop out. I don't think they're going to drop out anyway. I think they'll lose to Wrexham. Not predicting next one. And I might as well predict. No, actually, I can predict the next one because we won't be doing a preview show for it because it's a Tuesday night. I think they'll lose to Wrexham, beat Gateshead, and then they've got Yeovil last game of the season. And most people know what we're predicting for that game, but I won't say it. So, no, I think Boreham will be fine. I think they'll be 6th this season. Everyone's saying Bromley. It seems Bromley. Yeah, everyone seems to be predicting them. But yeah, that most brings it to a close then. Thank you for tuning in tonight. The numbers have been great considering it's only been myself. I just want to say, whilst it's just me, I can waffle a bit more tonight. Thank you. And I do mean this. Thank you so much for the support throughout the season. I know it's a bit of a cliche. Most people say it, but I honestly do mean it. To think now when I first started, that first show that I did, previous show at the start of the season, there were 4 people watching live at that time. To think now, we're consistently the last few weeks getting between 60 and 80 people. The Aaron McLean interview had over 130 people in. It's mind-blowing that people can tune into my streams and listen to me waffle on for an hour. I always like to think it's the guest as well that contributes as well. So thank you to all the guests that have tuned in throughout the season. And yeah, once again, thank you to you guys because it really does mean a lot. And I do generally mean that. I love talking about the National League. It's what I love to do. It's the league that I'm most passionate about. Like I've mentioned, I have no agenda against any club in this division, to be honest. So I just love covering the division. And honestly, even if we lose Wrexham off and we lose Notts County, I'll be doing this next season as well in some way. But I just wanted to say, if we do lose Wrexham this weekend, I want to thank Wrexham fans for contributing towards the podcast as well. I know a lot of you tune in as well, and same with Notts County. If either of you get promoted or any club gets promoted this season, thank you for tuning in throughout the season and thank you for contributing too. Please remember to like and subscribe. We'll be back again next Thursday to preview the next game. There's going to be lots of playoff build-up too. There'll be a few, maybe it'll be a bit inconsistent coming up because I have got my GCSEs to think about. So I do need to get those passed, to be honest. But I'm hoping to bring out a lot of playoff content as well. So thank you to everyone that's tuned in tonight. And we will see you next Thursday, hopefully. Yes, I'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in once again. Bye for now.